Why are we here? Is there a real purpose for each of us, or do we simply drift in the randomness of the universe? Since ancient times, humanity has sought answers. Philosophers, mystics, and scientists have tried to decipher this enigma. But what if the answer is not out there, but within our own psyche? Carl Jung believed that the meaning of life is not something we find, but something we build through the process of individuation, the path to integrating our total personality. But before discovering what this means, we must explore something deeper, the unconscious. Think about your life. Have you ever felt that there is something beyond what you can see? Perhaps a feeling that certain events are not coincidences but signs, or a sense that a part of you knows more than you think. That is not imagination. Jung called this the collective unconscious, a network of symbols, myths, and patterns that guide us without our knowledge. Our psyche is divided into the conscious ego, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. While the conscious is the part of our mind with which we make daily decisions, the personal unconscious contains repressed experiences, hidden desires, and forgotten memories. But the collective unconscious is even more mysterious. It is the set of human experiences stored in universal symbols, the archetypes. Archetypes are deep patterns within our mind. They appear in myths, dreams, and art. Some of the most well-known are the hero, who faces challenges to transform; the shadow, representing the repressed aspects of our personality; the sage, symbolizing the search for knowledge and truth. If we want to find our destiny, we must learn to recognize and understand these archetypes within us. Many people believe that the meaning of life lies in success, love, or fame. But why do so many people who have these things still feel empty? Jung would tell us that this happens because they seek meaning outside instead of inside. Society imposes expectations on us. Get a good job, start a family, follow the rules. But when we live by an external script, our soul begins to suffer. We feel disconnected from ourselves. Depression, anxiety, and the feeling that something is missing are often signs that we are not following our own path. The problem is that many do not even know what their true path is. This is where individuation comes in, the process of discovering who we really are, integrating our light and our shadow. Jung said that we cannot find ourselves without facing our shadow. This is the part of us that we deny or repress because it does not fit the image we want to project. It might be unexpressed, anger, forbidden desires, or even talents we have ignored out of fear. But ignoring the shadow does not make it disappear. On the contrary, it manifests in unconscious ways. Self-sabotage, toxic relationships, anxiety, or even psychosomatic illnesses. To begin integrating the shadow, we must observe our intense emotions. What bothers us in others is often a reflection of something within us. Explore our dreams. In them, the shadow often appears as unknown figures or unsettling situations. Accept that we are not just good. We all have light and darkness. The key is to balance them. The shadow is not an enemy. It is a valuable part of our psyche. Within it, there is also power, creativity, and authenticity. Accepting it is the first step toward true freedom. If this topic has made you reflect, tell me in the comments. Have you identified any part of your shadow in your life? Subscribe to continue exploring the mysteries of the mind and destiny together. If the meaning of life is not external but in our own inner journey, how can we discover our true path? For Jung, the key lies in archetypes. They are universal patterns that guide our psyche, appearing in dreams, myths, and daily experiences. But how can we use them to find our destiny? In this part, we will explain some of the most important archetypes and how to recognize them in our lives. Joseph Campbell, influenced by Jung, discovered that all great stories follow the same pattern, the hero's journey. From ancient epics to modern films, Humanity has told the same story over and over again, the call to adventure. Something within us pushes us to change. The refusal of the call, we feel fear and insecurity. The meeting with the mentor, someone guides us with knowledge or inspiration, tests and challenges. We face fears, doubts, and obstacles. Death and rebirth. We leave behind our old identity. The return with the elixir. We find our purpose and share it with the world. This is not just a narrative scheme, but a reflection of inner transformation. Our psyche is programmed to live this journey, but many people get stuck in the routine and never respond to the call. Now let's look at some archetypes that can help us understand our path. Our mind is populated by different archetypes, each with a purpose in our psychological development. Some of the most important in the search for meaning are the hero, the struggle for purpose. This archetype represents the part of us that seeks to grow and overcome. When we face challenges, we are activating the hero. But the hero also has a shadow, the inflated ego, the need for recognition, or the obsession with success. Example, someone seeking their purpose might become obsessed with external achievements, forgetting their true inner growth. The sage, the voice of intuition. The sage represents inner wisdom, the part of us that understands things on a deeper level. Often appears in dreams as an elder, a teacher, or even an inner voice. Example, in times of crisis, we can find answers when we stop to listen to our intuition instead of just seeking external advice. The wanderer, the search for the unknown. This archetype embodies the desire to explore and break away from the conventional. Many people feel that something is missing in their lives but fear breaking with the security of the known. Example, a person who leaves a stable job to pursue their true passion is responding to the call of the wanderer. The destroyer, breaking the old to create the new. Although it sounds negative, the destroyer is essential for transformation. It represents the part of us that must let go of the old to make way for something new. Example, ending a limiting. Relationship or changing professional direction can be painful, but often it is necessary to grow. These archetypes are in constant play within us. Some people get stuck in a single archetype, repeating patterns without moving forward. The key is to recognize when each one is activated in our life and use its energy consciously. To discover our purpose, we must learn to identify and listen to the archetypes that manifest in our lives. Here are some exercises to do this. Observe your recurring dreams and fantasies. Archetypes often appear in symbolic images. Do you dream of journeys, of challenges, of mysterious figures? All this can reveal messages about your path. Pay attention to the stories that fascinate you. The movies, books, or myths that impact you can reveal which archetypes resonate with you. If you identify with the hero, you might feel a call to overcome obstacles. If you are drawn to the sage, your destiny might lie in teaching or introspection. Analyze the conflicts in your life. Archetypes also reveal themselves through the problems we face. If you constantly feel trapped, your wanderer might be asking for exploration. If you feel frustrated, the destroyer might be trying to make space for something new. The meaning of life is not found in a single answer, but in the evolution of our own story. Each of us has a unique destiny, but to achieve it, we must listen to the messages of the unconscious. We have explored the unconscious, archetypes, and how they can guide us on our path. But there is a key element that we often overlook: interpersonal relationships. Why are we attracted to certain people? Why do we repeat the same patterns in love and friendship? Jung said that the people who enter our lives are not there by chance. They are mirrors of our psyche. They reflect parts of ourselves that we have not yet integrated, and through them, we can discover hidden aspects of our destiny. Relationships as a reflection of our unconscious. Every time we feel intensely attracted or repelled by someone, we are not reacting just to the other person, but to what they represent within us. Jung called this phenomenon projection. Projection occurs when we attribute to others qualities that actually belong to our own unconscious. When we deeply admire someone, we might be seeing in them qualities that we have not recognized in ourselves. When someone irritates or makes us uncomfortable, we might be seeing a reflected part of our shadow that we do not want to accept. Example: love as a projection of the anima and animus. Jung spoke of two fundamental figures in our psyche. The anima, in men, represents the feminine part of the unconscious. It can appear in dreams as a mysterious woman or in real life as an idealized partner. The animus, in women, represents the masculine part of the unconscious. It can manifest as an authority figure or as an idealized partner with intellectual or spiritual qualities. When we fall intensely in love with someone, we often do not see the real person, but the projection of our anima or animus. That is why many relationships begin with a phase of idealization, but then transform into conflict. The real person does not match the image we have projected onto them. Example: someone who is repeatedly attracted to distant or unattainable partners might be projecting an animus that seeks independence and self-sufficiency. To discover our destiny, we must recognize these projections and ask ourselves, what is this person showing me about myself? Relationships not only reflect our lights but also our shadows. The conflicts we face with others are opportunities to discover hidden aspects of our psyche. Example: if we always attract relationships where we feel undervalued, we might be reflecting an internal belief of not being valuable enough. If we struggle to trust others, our shadow might contain unresolved experiences of betrayal. The unconscious uses relationships to force us to confront these parts of ourselves. Every conflict is an opportunity to ask ourselves, what part of me is involved in this situation? If we learn to see relationships as mirrors, we can use them as tools for our development. Here are some exercises to do this. Observe the patterns in your relationships. Do certain conflicts repeat themselves? Are you always attracted to the same types of people? This can reveal lessons you have not yet learned. Keep a projection diary. When someone provokes an intense emotion in you, positive or negative, ask yourself, what part of me is reflected in this person? Use conflicts as opportunities for self-awareness. Instead of reacting automatically in an argument, try asking yourself, what part of my psyche is active at this moment? No one finds their purpose in isolation. Our destiny is shaped in our interactions with others. The people who enter our lives, especially those who challenge us, are fundamental pieces in our journey of individuation. Carl Jung discovered that our mind is not just the product of our individual experiences. We are also connected to an ancestral memory, an invisible network of meanings that unites all of humanity. This collective unconscious is composed of symbols, myths, and universal patterns that have guided civilizations since time immemorial. If we want to find our true purpose, we must learn to connect with this deeper dimension of reality. Since ancient times, cultures have created myths and rituals that reflect the same essential themes. Rebirth after symbolic death, Osiris, Christ. Buddha, the hero's journey that faces trials and transforms, Ulysses, Moses, King Arthur. The encounter with the sage or goddess who grants knowledge, Athena, the oracle of Delphi, the Virgin Mary. These myths are not just stories, but expressions of our collective unconscious. They function as hidden maps that guide us on our own journey. Sometimes, without knowing why, we feel drawn to certain symbols, cultures, or stories. This happens because our psyche recognizes in them something that resonates with our destiny. Example: imagine someone who is obsessed with the story of the phoenix, the bird that is reborn from its ashes. Unknowingly, their unconscious is telling them that they must undergo a profound transformation in their life, leaving behind their old identity. Just as myths guide humanity, we can also use these patterns to discover our purpose. If the collective unconscious is an ocean of symbols and meanings, how can we access it consciously? Here are some ways to do it. Through dreams and meditation. Dreams are one of the most direct ways in which the collective unconscious manifests. If you keep a dream journal, you can notice recurring patterns or symbols that contain important messages. Exercise. Before going to sleep, ask yourself a question about your life and observe if your dream gives you any symbolic answer. Question: what is my unconscious trying to tell me? Through synchronicity, Jung discovered that the universe sends us signals in the form of meaningful coincidences. He called this phenomenon synchronicity. Example: you are considering changing course in your life and suddenly start seeing the same word, number, or image repeatedly in different places. It is as if the universe is sending you a message. Through art, music, and myths. Art and literature are full of symbols that can activate the collective unconscious within us. Exercise. Observe what types of stories, images, or songs move you the most. Question: what do they say about your own inner journey? The symbols that attract us can be keys to understanding our mission in life. Many times we think of our purpose as something individual, but in reality, our life is intertwined with a greater story. The ancients spoke of the daimon, or the inner genius, a force that guides us toward our mission. Jung called it the self, the totality of our being that seeks to express itself through life. When we ignore this inner call, we feel lost. But when we learn to listen to the signals of the collective unconscious, we find direction and meaning. Example: many people feel a void in their life without knowing why. Often this happens because they have disconnected from their true purpose. In contrast, those who follow their intuition and pay attention to the signals of the collective unconscious usually find a path full of meaning. We are not alone on this journey. Our psyche is in constant communication with a larger network. The problem is that most people have not learned to listen. Discovering our purpose is not just about personal success, but about understanding how our role fits into a larger scheme. Each of us has a unique path, but we are connected with the evolution of humanity. Our talents, passions, and intuitions are tools that the collective unconscious has given us to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. Here are some key questions to reflect on your connection with the collective unconscious. What symbols or myths have marked your life? Have you had experiences of synchronicity that have pointed you in a direction? Do you feel that there is a call within you that you have not yet explored? The key to finding the meaning of life is not to seek answers externally, but to learn to decipher the messages that the unconscious constantly sends us. We have taken a deep journey through the unconscious, archetypes, relationships as mirrors, and connection with the collective unconscious. Now we come to the most important part: how to integrate all this knowledge and take action to reach your destiny. Knowing these concepts is not enough. True transformation occurs when we bring this understanding into practice. The purpose of life is not just to discover who you are, but to become it. Carl Jung spoke of a fundamental process in the human psyche: individuation. It is the journey in which we become aware of who we really are, integrate our shadows, understand our patterns, and align with our true purpose. It is not about becoming someone else, but about removing the layers imposed by society, the expectations of others, and the wounds of the past to discover the essence that has always been within you. If you have come this far, it is because you feel within you that call to something greater. Here are 3 essential steps to begin walking toward your destiny. The struggles and challenges you have faced are not just accidents of life. They are part of your journey of transformation. Exercise. Make a list of the most difficult and significant moments of your life. Question: if my life were a story or a myth, what kind of hero or heroine would I be? What tests have I overcome? Where do my experiences lead me? You cannot move forward on your path if you continue to ignore or repress parts of yourself. The shadow contains vital energy that needs to be recognized and channeled. Exercise. Make a list of the qualities or behaviors in others that bother you the most. Then ask yourself, Is there a part of me that shares those traits, even subtly? How can I accept and integrate that part of me instead of rejecting it? You cannot expect destiny to come to you without moving. The key to discovering your purpose is to take action on what calls your attention, even if you do not have all the answers. Exercise. Think of an activity, topic, or cause that has always sparked your interest. Question: how can I begin to explore this, even with a small step? Your destiny is not something that is discovered suddenly, but something that is built day by day with each choice you make. It is common that when we begin to take action, fear appears. The unconscious has defense mechanisms that will try to keep you in your comfort zone. The most common fears when taking the path of destiny are fear of failure. What if I make a mistake? Fear of others' judgment. What will they say if I change? Fear of success. What if I really achieve what I want and my life changes completely? Exercise. Write on a piece of paper. If I had no fear, what would I do today to get closer to my destiny? If you feel resistance to writing the answer, it is a sign that there is your next step. By integrating your shadow, recognizing your story, and taking action, you not only change your life, but also become a key piece of the collective unconscious. Example: think of the people who have inspired great changes in the world. They were not extraordinary beings with special powers. They were people who simply dared to follow their inner calling, even when others did not understand. You are also part of this greater story. Your destiny is not just for you, but it also impacts others. Now that we have taken this journey together, I want to leave you with a final question. If today were the first day of the rest of your life, what would you do differently to begin building your true destiny? Do not just answer in your mind. Write it down, share it in the comments, and commit to it. Because the difference between those who discover their purpose and those who do not is that the former dare to take the first step. If this content has resonated with you and you want to continue exploring more about depth psychology, the unconscious, and the dynamics of the mind, stay tuned for our next video. There are still many mysteries to discover about the human being and their path toward individuation. See you on the next journey.